Hello, I am here with you about to embark upon a very gentle kind of post work day or just post day um, wiggle. So we get to the end of our day, with like kind of creaky, sticky bits that we might want to ease into without doing a full practice. So I would love for you to join me on this very short practice, just stretching out the kind of bigger muscles of the body, giving the feet, the wrists a little bit of love. I would recommend that you have 2 blocks for your practice. If you don't have 2 blocks, you can have a bolster or maybe like a rolled up pillow or a few pillows or lots of blankets. It's just for one of the poses at the end of our practice. So when you're ready, we're going to meet on our mat. So I would love for you to find your way onto your mat, probably sitting facing the front of it for where we're going to go for ease. But you can face in any direction you like. We're going to begin in a pose called Tarasana or Tarasana. And it's very, very similar to butterfly or Baddha, but it's a little bit more gentle. So you're gonna come onto your seat with a bend into your legs, and you're gonna have your feet quite a distance away from you. So there is a big bend, but it's not too big. And then you're gonna separate your knees out side to side. And you're just gonna bring your thumbs to the soles of your feet. Now we're not looking to fold into this. We're just looking to lean slightly forward. And then when you've come forward and you've got your thumbs on the soles of your feet, we're going to give ourselves a little bit of foot love. So you're going to take the soles of your thumbs and you're just going to run them through the inner arch of each foot. And you can go from just above the heel all the way through the arch, all the way to the first metatarsal, which is a fancy word for the ball of your foot. And you're just going to do a few gentle strokes. And then slowly, slowly, you're going to keep that same point starting just beneath the heel. You're going to start to go up through the inner arch. So right through the middle line of each foot. Allow this to move quite naturally. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to go back to the inner arch, go back to the inner arch. And if you want to think, oh, I want to go to the outer arch, go back to the outer arch. Because we have 3 arches in our feet that create that sense of lift, and they all need a little bit of love. And the next thing we're going to do is can feel a little bit weird when you first do it, but if you do it often enough, you'll get used to it. So you're going to pick up your left foot, you're going to spread your fingers or your right hand nice and wide, and you're going to link all your fingers in the space between your toes. And you're just going to take a very gentle grip of the foot. You're then going to hold your left ankle with your left hand, and you're going to make a few circles with your left foot. I say with the left foot, you're using your hand, so your foot's totally floppy. And you'll go in one direction, and then you'll go in the other. Be really healthy to move the joints passively. Oh, lovely stuff. I'm going to swap it over. So you're going to get the fingers out of the toes and then come onto the other side. So you pick the right foot up in the right hand, spread the left fingers, and you'll weave your fingers in between your toes. Take a nice steady grip of the top of the foot. So it's like a loving grasp. And then we're going to start to make those circles again. Very gently, there's no rush. Don't be doing it too quickly. And then come in the opposite direction. Nice and easy. And then when you're ready and you're done, you'll release the fingers from the toes, and then you can bring the foot down to the air. We are going to now come into a gentle forward fold. And a really lovely way to open into the hips is to bring your thumbs back to the soles of your feet and open your feet like you're opening a book. And as you open your feet, pay careful attention to the insides of your hips, like right in the joints. And just notice what information it's giving you. Does it feel a little bit more open? Does it feel constricted, stuck? We're looking for a sense of opening. So if that isn't providing a sense of opening for you, you can keep your feet, of course, together. And then very, very gently, we're going to fold forwards. And for Ta Asana, the 5 points of a star, you make a little Kali Mudra, yogi gun with your hands, and you slip it over your toes. So you've got your feet open, and you've got your Kali Mudra, your yogi gun, as they call it, over the toes. And you can use your elbows to press the calves down. A few gentle breaths. Notice if the body is kind of activating the muscles, maybe around the hips, the glutes, the thighs, even the calves sometimes start to switch on. See if you can breathe enough and slowly enough to ask them to relax. I'm not here for too long, don't worry. It can be a strong pose. Okay. When you're ready, you're going to start to slowly come back up. And then I will always say, and you'll know this if you practice with me often, we use our hands to help our knees back towards one another. And then if you're not facing the top of the mat, you're just going to take a little swivel. You're going to cross your ankles, roll over your feet and your shins, hands to the mat. And we're just going to step back to downward facing dog. It could be a long down dog, a short down dog. It really doesn't matter. So as you come to your downward facing dog, make sure your fingers are spread really nice and wide, and there's a really generous bend into your knees. And then we often say, pedal the feet, bend the knees. We're going to do that really slowly today. So as you come into your down dog, you bend your right knee and press your left heel towards the earth, and then just pause there. And what we find when we stay a little bit longer is that we start to stretch, really enjoy the stretch of the calves and the back of the knee. And then just swap it over. Bend the left knee, press the right heel towards the ground. Again, it might not touch, that's okay. Make sure the head stays nice and heavy. Grounding through that right heel. And it might even help to lift the right kneecap up the leg a little bit. And then swap it over. We'll do just one more in each. You can adjust your down dog as you go. If you find the wrists get a little bit tender, so you can shorten it, lengthen it. And swap it onto the other side. Really nice. Okay. Come back to a kind of neutral down dog. And you're going to take your right foot, and you're going to slide your right big toe and your right second toe to the Achilles, the heel. And you're just going to use the weight of your right leg and the power of your right foot to lengthen the back of the calf muscle. And we'll just swap it over. So we'll release right foot to the ground. You're going to take your left foot off the mat slightly, left big toe, left second toe around the back of your right heel, the Achilles. And you're just going to gently guide it down. Nothing too forceful. Make sure your left foot isn't kind of contracting, or if it's getting cramp, I get cramp quite often in my toes. Then come out for a second and then rejoin. And then you're just going to gently release. Oh, lovely stuff. Wrists and hands really getting a little bit tired now. So I'm going to come forward. We're going to step the right foot forward to the top of our mat. And we're going to let the left knee come all the way down to the ground. Oh. And then what I'd love you to do, and you can use your hands as support, is you're just going to see how far back you can get the left knee away from the right heel while keeping quite a firm bend in that right knee. So left knee goes back, right knee stays bent. And then you're going to untuck your right toes. And you're just going to hold it here. So it's a big, 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 big stretch for the front of your left quad and your left hip flexor. And don't worry if it doesn't look like mine. Look for the sensation, not for the aesthetic of the posture. Just a few steady breaths. Okay, I'm going to tuck the left toes. I'm going to help the left knee in a little bit so that we can power up, and we're just going to step back to downward facing dog. So simple. There's nothing fluffy, flowery, or complicated about the movement that we're going to make today. You're going to step your left foot forward, right knee comes down to the earth, and then you're going to tuck your right toes and shift your right knee back slightly. So if you're anything like me, one side of your body is quite a lot more open than the other. So once you get to a place that feels okay, so we've got that nice strong bend in the left knee, you're going to untuck your right toes. Again, a few steady breaths. And see if you can relax. Notice what happens when you relax. Do you go a little bit deeper maybe? Of course, never be in pain, even in a like quote unquote dynamic practice that this might be considered. There's no room for pain. Much like yin, you want to be at a place of enough sensation, but not too much. When you're ready, you're going to tuck your right toes. You might shuffle your right knee in a little bit so that you can press your hands into the ground and just step all the way back to your downward facing dog. Lovely stuff. From your down dog, you're just going to look forward and slowly walk your feet all the way to the top of the mat. Take your time. Keep your knees as bent as you want. And then especially as we get to the top of the mat, juicy bend into the knees. Your belly or your chest should be resting against your thighs. And then your head gets really, really heavy. And we'll take 3 different variations. We're going to start in our ragdoll with our hands around our elbows. We allow ourselves to fall really heavy towards the ground. And this might be a nice place to do that little sway side to side. Or for me, I get a tight lower back, and I find a little bob forward and back can really, really help to release that. You're then going to release the hands, interlace the fingers, and bring them to the base of your skull. Allow the weight of the hands to lengthen the back of your neck. And the elbows heavy, so we're not bringing them outside to side, we're letting them weigh down onto or towards the ground. Big stretch through the back of the neck and the space in between the shoulder blades. You might even feel it all the way up the spinal extensors, those muscles that run either side of your spinal column. And then we'll go for our final variation. Our final variation is hands behind the back of our body, behind our tailbone, the small of our back. And interlace our fingers. Just start to see if you can reach the knuckles up towards the sky. And then let them get heavy. So it's almost like they're dropping behind your head. You don't have to squeeze the heels of the hands together by any means. You almost just like allowing your fingers to stay gently in place together. Let's gently release. Might feel quite warm in the shoulders and the chest as you start to release the hands down to the ground. And then vertebra by vertebra, we're going to come all the way up. But we're going to stop about halfway. If you keep the hands really heavy, you keep the knees bent, you keep the chin tucking towards the chest, you might find that you reach a point where you feel like there's this big stretch through the back of the heart. That's kind of what we're looking for. Just breathe into that space wherever you find it. And then after a few rounds of breath, take your time. We come all the way up. Oh, lovely. Okay. Hands are going to reach all the way up towards the sky. Keep your left hand lifted. Bring your right hand back down the right side of your body. And you're going to bend your knees ever so slightly. And imagine you're drawing a big circle with your left hand all the way to the right side, all the way out to the right as you start to fold forwards. Then as your left hand comes to the ground, you're going to release your right hand down, and your right hand is going to continue drawing that circle, but all the way up the left. Your left hand is on the left side of your body as you draw all the way up with your right arm. So when you come up, your right arm is up, your left arm is down. We're going to go in the other direction. So bend the knees softly, start to lean over to the left-hand side as you draw that, probably more like an oval shape with your right hand. And it's going to come all the way down. And as it comes down, the left arm, the left hand is going to take over. And we're going to come all the way up the right side. Keep the right arm heavy, the head heavy. And this time as you come all the way up, you can let the left hand come down. And then we're going to re-ragdoll ourselves. So soft bend into the knees. See if you can curl the chin in. Arms heavy as you start to fold, 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 all the way down. Once you get all the way down, you're going to widen the bend in your knees. So widen your feet. They come as wide as the mat, and then you're going to bend your knees. Let your seat come down. So you come into Malasana. So for me, my favorite variation of Malasana is one with movement. So see if you can pivot onto the ball of one foot and the outer edge of the other. So let's bring a weight into the ball of the right foot as we start to face over to the left-hand side. Come onto the outer blade of the left foot and see if you might even press the left thigh away a bit. And then you come to the other. So we come onto the ball of the left foot, we spin the hips and the heart to face the right, come onto the outer blade of the right foot and you press the right leg. Let's just do that twice more. Once more on each side. Lovely stuff. Now there's no graceful way to do this. We're just going to sit on our bums. So you come down onto your bum. I'd like you to grab your blocks or your support or whatever it might be, and we're coming into fish pose or supported fish pose. So for supported fish pose, blocks, if you're using them, you want one at the very back of the mat on the lowest setting. And for this variation of supported fish, a really nice heart opener, you're going to take the other one on the medium setting. If you think that's the highest, that's the medium. About a foot away from the other block, and you can adjust when you come down. If you're using a bolster, you can just lay it lengthways behind you, and the same with pillows, but make sure they give you a little bit of height. So you're then going to come all the way down, and I would suggest, if it's okay on your shoulders, holding the block if you're using one. So as you lay yourself down, you're looking for, if you're one of my fellow ladies, where your bra strap might land. That's where the block comes. And if you're one of my boy yogis, where you imagine your bra strap might land. So just beneath the shoulder blades, just beneath the shoulder blades. And then you're going to come all the way down, and hopefully the other block is now in a nice place to support your head. So it's a big, big opening through the back of the heart, the front of the ribs, the stomach. Oh, lovely stuff. And you might stay here. You might straighten your legs. It's up to you. Straightening the legs can often put more intensity in the pose. So if it feels quite strong already, you can just keep your legs bent. Arms spread out in opposite directions. And we're just here for 10 breaths. I'd love you to focus on letting your shoulders get heavy, softening the jaw, softening the eyebrows. Maybe just for the last 2 rounds of breath, and try and breathe into the back of your lungs. Okay. To come out of the pose, we'll bring our arms a little bit closer towards us, elbows on the floor. You're just going to tuck your chin towards your chest, so you lift the head off the support and move the arms back slightly so you can press into the ground and bring yourself off that other block. Remove the blocks, pop them to one side, and the final piece of this little D-Creek flow puzzle is to come onto the back of your body. Spread your arms out, keep a bend in the legs, feet as wide as your mat, and just let your knees knock together. And let your awareness just run through all of the places that we've given a little bit of love today. For the feet, the toes, the ankles, calves, the hamstrings, the thighs, the hip flexors, the sides of the body, the back of the ribs, chest, the shoulders. As always, you can stay here just enjoying for as long as you desire. And I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me.